You know that feeling of modern burnout?
Oh, yeah. I think we all do.
That relentless feeling where you're just constantly busy, right? You're checking things off your list. You're running at 100 miles an hour every single day.
And yet,
And yet you kind of look up and you feel, well, you feel profoundly stuck. Like all that effort is just, sustaining the status quo.
it's the paradox of modern productivity, isn't it? We
Mm.
pour so much energy into just maintenance.
It's keeping up.
Exactly, into keeping up. And we forget what it even feels like to move forward. And we treat this stress like it's a time management problem. If I just had one more hour or if I used a better app.
Right.
But the source material we dove into today, Steve McClatchy's Decide, it argues that we've completely misdiagnosed the crisis.
Okay, let's unpack that because
Yeah.
that distinction feels like it's the foundation for this whole deep dive.
It is.
The core idea is that stress isn't really caused by a lack of time. It's caused by a failure to make good decisions about how we use the time we have.
That's right. And the sources frame our entire motivational structure around two for shot. Two really simple but powerful concepts.
Okay.
Every single task, every goal, every decision we make is driven by one of two core psychological forces.
Us too.
Just two. It's either moving toward gain, that is improvement, results you want, desire, or it's focused on trying to prevent pain.
Avoiding consequences, maintaining what you have, moving away from fear.
You got it.
And the mission of this deep dive, then, is to give you the practical framework you need to recognize those two drivers so you can stop merely maintaining your life and start actively leading it.
We're going to show you how recognizing gain versus prevent pain, it really changes absolutely everything about how you prioritize, how you manage your energy, and ultimately how you achieve meaningful results. Okay, so let's start with definitions, just to be super clear.
Yeah.
Prevent pain tasks. These are the have-to tasks.
The obligations.
The obligations, yeah. They're motivated purely by avoiding a negative outcome. Think about it. You pay the mortgage to prevent foreclosure.
You file your taxes to prevent fines.
You do your weekly report to prevent your boss from, asking where it is.
And the source material says this really practical definition I like. It says a prevent pain task is any task or activity that, if neglected, someone else will eventually bring to your attention.
That's the key. Someone else. It's tracked by a system, an individual, a looming consequence. It's necessary for survival.
Okay, so that's prevent pain. Now compare that to gain tasks.
Right. These are the things you don't have to do. There's no external pressure. They are motivated purely by a desire for improvement, for growth, for positive results that aren't tied to avoiding something bad.
So this could be like pursuing an advanced certification.
Or launching a totally new marketing strategy, or teaching yourself a musical instrument.
Or even just dedicating real time to meaningfully improving a key relationship in your life.
Exactly.
But wait a minute, doesn't avoiding pain sometimes lead to gain? Like, if I meticulously pay all my bills on time, I get a great credit rating. Isn't that line a little blurry?
That is such an important point, and the source addresses it directly. You gain security and you gain stability by preventing pain.
Yeah.
And that's essential. You need that foundation.
Of course.
But, and this is the crucial distinction, gain tasks produce significantly more positive results in your life and business than prevent pain tasks do. If you only focus on prevent pain, you are only ever maintaining the status quo.
You're just running in place.
They're running in place while the world improves around you.
I see. So the mortgage payment is maintenance. But the research you do on, say, real estate investments that could double your income, that's gain.
Precisely. The source illustrates this perfectly with the author's own story. He was chosen as the valedictorian speaker in college.
Go.
And he says he wasn't chosen because he had the highest grades. Getting good grades, that was a prevent pain requirement for graduation. Everyone was doing that.
It was the minimum expectation.
Right. He was chosen because of the extra things I did that I didn't have to do, the gain tasks, like running a campus radio show or starting a Big Brother program.
Yeah. Ugh, that's the real kicker. Everyone had to meet the minimums, but those gain tasks, the ones nobody was tracking, nobody was making him do, that's what created his unique value.
It's what separated him as a leader.
And that leads directly to this core concept shift, right? Management versus leadership.
Yes. Management is maintenance. It's just keeping things exactly the way they are today.
Yeah.
But leadership is improvement. It's moving things forward from where they are today.
So true leadership, then, doesn't even require a title.
Not at all. It just requires pursuing gain. Because if you're not actively making things better, you're not leading. You're just managing.
Okay, so if we accept this fundamental distinction that gain generates results and prevent pain just generates maintenance, then that forces us to completely rethink how we prioritize.
Completely.
We're all trained on that, ABC system where it all represents urgency. A is due now, B is soon, C is later.
And that system is fundamentally flawed. I mean, it's basically a system that rewards procrastination. Well, if you wait long enough, any non-urgent C task just becomes a high-stress, urgent A task.
You get the same result, but you just added a ton of stress to the process.
Exactly. And this is where the source material introduces this brilliant concept of drama.
Drama, I like that.
Think about the classic analogy,
Yeah.
taking out the trash. Taking out the trash on a Sunday night is a low-stress C task, no big deal.
Right.
But if you wait until Monday morning and you hear the truck coming down the street, suddenly you're panicking, you're rushing out the door yelling, you successfully toss the bag in at the very last second.
You feel like a hero?
You feel like a hero. You just engaged in high stress, a time, which gives you this illusion of productivity,
Yeah.
the satisfaction of solving a crisis.
You didn't create any new value, you just took out the trash.
That's drama. The source defines it as giving something more time, energy, and attention than it deserves based on the minimal results it produces. That illusion is probably the biggest obstacle to actual progress.
So, if urgency is the enemy, the new way to prioritize has to be based on results, not on deadlines.
Exactly.
So how do we cleanly distinguish these new categories then?
So we still use A, B, C, but they represent the impact of the task, not its urgency. Tasks are gain tasks,
The big stuff.
the biggest stuff. They produce the most significant results, your goals, your vision, your improvement initiatives. And remember, the two critical attributes of an A task, they are never urgent and they can't be delegated.
Oh, that's key. If someone else can do it, it's not your A task.
And if it has a deadline set by someone else, it's also not your A task.
Got it. A is about personal, forward-moving commitment. So what about the critical maintenance items, the important stuff we still have to do?
Those fall into B tasks. These are recorded prevent pain tasks. They're vital maintenance responsibilities that are documented and tracked.
Like monthly financial reports or paying the mortgage or sending out customer invoices.
Yes, and crucially, quality matters here. Your performance on a B task is recorded, and doing it poorly has a really significant negative impact.
Okay, A is gain, B is important maintenance, which leaves C.
And finally, C tasks are all the other prevent pain tasks, the mundane maintenance items.
Checking your general email inbox, sorting the sock drawer, taking out the trash, routine cleaning.
Exactly, and no one tracks how well you do a C task. It just matters that you eventually get it done to avoid the consequence.
The actionable insight here seems simple, but also revolutionary. You have to stop treating C tasks like they're A tasks.
That's the whole game. If you spend your high-energy morning time on C tasks, you are sacrificing your A goals for the sake of avoiding some low-level drama.
And that high-level drama, or even just the constant low-level noise of C tasks, it just drains us.
It absolutely does.
And that brings us to energy, because our two motivations, gain, which is fueled by desire, and prevent pain, fueled by fear, they draw their energy from two very different sources.
And constant prevent pain is the ultimate recipe for burnout. You
Yeah.
feel like you're in a rut because you are only focused on survival.
The source defines a rut as the absence of life getting better. That's bleak.
It is. But the solution to that balance crisis isn't just resting more. It's pursuing gain. Because that creates a feeling you get when you are satisfied with where you are and where you are going in life.
We all need that feeling. And the source breaks down gain into two types of goals that provide this vital energy. The first one is consumption goals.
Right. These are your short-term rewards, a nice dinner out, a weekend getaway, that luxury purchase you've been eyeing.
And these are necessary.
Oh, they're absolutely necessary. They provide this crucial energy boost that comes from anticipation. The source notes this fascinating psychological fact. Happiness levels actually peak during the planning of a vacation.
Not while you're on it.
Not while you're on it, and certainly not afterward. It's the planning, the looking forward to it. We need that positive anticipation to pull us through the grind.
But you have to balance those short-term boosts with the other kind, creation goals.
Yes. These are the long-term, delayed gratification results. Getting that advanced degree, starting a business that lasts, truly improving your health, or repairing a significant relationship.
These are the things that build your identity.
They pull you forward relentlessly. They give you an enduring sense of identity, and they fundamentally alter the quality of your life. Now, if you only pursue creation goals, you risk a different kind of burnout, right? the exhaustion of no immediate rewards.
And if you only pursue prevent pain, you just stagnate.
You need both creation and consumption gain. That's what achieves true forward momentum.
And speaking of energy, let's tackle that familiar rush we all get when a deadline is looming.
Procrastination.
Procrastination. It's basically using the fear of consequences, that classic fight or flight adrenaline push, to motivate you to do things you don't actually want to do.
And the source is pretty honest about the perceived benefits, right? It gives you speed, it gives you focus, that temporary energy rush.
But the problems are severe: high stress, a lower quality of work, and a total loss of control. The deadline is now running your life, not your decisions.
Exactly.
So what's the final verdict? Can we ever use that fear-based energy effectively?
The material is really clear on this. It's only acceptable for C tasks where the quality doesn't matter. If you have to spend 2 hours cleaning out a filing cabinet, maybe that adrenaline rush helps you get it done quickly, fine.
But never for the important stuff.
Never. You should never use fear to motivate B or A tasks where quality and long-term results are essential. The results really matter. You need the healthy, sustainable energy that comes from desire and gain, not the brittle stress that comes from fear. So the biggest, most frustrating challenge with all these gain tasks, these A tasks, is that they're never urgent. They just aren't.
So they will constantly lose the battle.
They'll constantly lose the battle against the prevent pain tasks that have immediate visible consequences right in front of your face.
So if we acknowledge that time is this irreplaceable resource and it's always moving forward no matter what we do.
Then we aren't managing time. We can't. We're managing our decisions about how we spend that time.
And this brings us to what feels like the most critical, practical tool for shifting your life from maintenance to leadership, and that is your calendar.
Yes, the calendar.
If a gain goal is just sitting on your to-do list, it will inevitably get pushed aside by the first urgent email or the first person who pops their head in your office.
Always. The only way to ensure gain gets done is to move it from your to-do list to your calendar.
It's a psychological shift, isn't it?
It's a huge psychological shift. I mean, think about it. Why do we defend what's on our calendar? Because it represents a commitment, usually to another person. We check the calendar before we say yes to new things. We treat a scheduled meeting as, inviolable.
We do not do that with the to-do list.
We don't defend the to-do list at all.
Yeah.
We rearrange it, we ignore it constantly.
Yeah.
But by making an appointment with yourself, a private work session for your task, you're giving that goal the priority and the psychological defense it needs to survive.
So this means we need a really reliable planning habit that incorporates all 3 levels of tasks. Let's start with monthly planning for those crucial A tasks.
Yes. At the start of the month, you look at your calendar and you schedule time for your long-term goals. And this doesn't mean you schedule 8 hours to write the whole book.
Right, that's too intimidating.
Way too intimidating. It means scheduling the first small steps. Even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes for brainstorming or creating a little flow chart or just researching one key resource, the goal is just to establish forward motion before the prevent pain tasks take over.
Okay, then we move to weekly planning for our B tasks, the recorded maintenance.
Right. You schedule time to work on these specific tracked responsibilities before their deadline. This is so crucial because it ensures you dedicate time for quality. You're working with intention, not rushing in a panic.
So if you know that detailed financial report is due on Friday,
You block out time on Tuesday morning to work on it. That ensures you aren't forced to use that low-quality, fear-based motivation on Thursday night.
and finally, daily planning for the C tasks. This is the ultimate defense mechanism.
It really is. Spend 5 minutes planning the next 24 hours, including all your scheduled calendar items, before you check your email or your voicemail.
Oh, that's the key. Before.
If you check those communication channels first, you immediately start working on other people's agendas. Planning first ensures you run your agenda. You prioritize your A and B tasks before the deluge of C tasks begins.
And when you inevitably get interrupted, someone calls, someone stops by your desk mid-task, the source material has a pretty disciplined strategy for that too.
It requires discipline, but it works. You immediately state your time constraint and ask a pointed question to define the scope. Something like, hey, I only have 5 minutes before my next meeting. What's the key outcome we need here, or should we schedule sometime later?
That immediately forces them to justify the interruption.
It forces them to define the value, and it prevents their C task from becoming your A-level drama.
And the final piece of this organizational puzzle to reduce stress is incredibly practical. You have to decide and commit to one system.
Oh, absolutely. One system for your calendar, one for your to-do list, one place for contacts, one place for notes, for both your personal and your professional life.
Not separate systems.
Trying to maintain separate systems is a recipe for disaster. It guarantees overcommitment and those stressful memory jolts you get right as you're trying to fall asleep.
Because your brain is trying to run two different tracking systems at once.
Exactly. Integrate and commit.
Yeah.
So we've walked through the key shifts today. It's about prioritizing results over urgency, choosing desire over fear, and, well, transforming your intentions into reality by actually scheduling your gain tasks on your calendar.
And this pursuit of gain, this is what actually builds your unique identity. It builds your expertise, your legacy as a leader. It's really the only thing that separates you from everyone else who is just focused on surviving.
Just meeting the bare minimum requirements of life.
Yeah?
And you work too hard just to stand still. You work way too hard just to prevent pain day after day. Your decisions, they truly determine who you are and where you are going.
It really leaves you with a final provocative thought, and it builds directly on the essence of the source material. If your decisions define you, what do you want people to think or feel when they hear your name? What do you want people to remember you for? The time to answer that is right now. By making decisions today that reflect improvement, not just survival, go decide.